I don't know about you, but apart from the fact that I can't buy every watch in the world and don't actually have to own every watch either. Sometimes it's enough to look at a watch, try it on, and see it just once. I'm revealing the top 10 watches that every watch lover needs to experience at least once in their life. But why? These watches give you a unique wrist feel, allow you to immerse yourself in the history of a model, and can even change your own view of mechanical watches. Where can watch lovers experience watches? If you're wondering where you can experience watches without having to buy them outright, or at least fake your intention to do so, let me tell you, even as a mere mortal watch enthusiast, you've got several options. Jewelers are looking forward to your no obligation to buy visit, as well as the boutiques that want to connect you with a watch brand. I personally have had the best experiences at watch meetups. Not only will you meet lots of like-minded people there, you'll also have the opportunity to try on watches from other watch enthusiasts in a relaxed environment. Top 10 watches that every watch enthusiast or watch aficionado needs to experience. There is a large selection of outstanding mechanical timepieces. Which watches do I think you absolutely have to experience? The following top 10 list contains some of the most exciting pieces the watch world has to offer. The world's first luxury steel sports watch. 1. Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. The Royal Oak from Audemars Piguet established a completely new watch genre and is rightly an icon that still delights watch lovers all over the world to this day. Even more than 50 years after its first release, countless watchmakers have attempted to emulate this design and style. With this watch, Audemars Piguet and designer Gérald Genta not only immortalized themselves, but also turned the entire watchmaking world on its head. In 1972, sports watches were still tools, and clearly different from the noble, fine luxury watches made of precious metal. During the quartz crisis, Audemars Piguet wanted to pull something new and groundbreaking out of the hat to make mechanical watches socially acceptable again, and Genta delivered the world's first steel luxury sports watch practically overnight. This timepiece is a true work of art that combines a sophisticated look with industrial style. Every watch enthusiast needs to have tried on and experienced this watch at least once in their life. 2. Answer to the Audemars Piguet Patek Philippe Nautilus. The following watch is another design masterpiece. The Patek Philippe Nautilus was also created by Gérald Genta and is another watch that you have to put on to understand the fascination behind it. Perhaps some watch enthusiasts will be disillusioned. The case and strap are simpler and more straightforward in design than the elaborate Royal Oak. Together with the beautiful, calming dégradé dial, all components of this steel sports watch create an overall picture that's perfect as is. 3. The legendary presidential watch, Rolex Day-Date. I don't know if it's the same in your part of the world, but gold watches are a point of discussion. Whatever the case, I can only recommend that every watch fan holds a gold watch in their hands at least once in their life, hopefully with the chance to try it on. In my opinion, you really should try one on to really know what it's like. The look and weight of gold watches is extraordinary. The watch that best conveys the fascination of precious metal on the wrist, and which for me personally is the Rolex par excellence, is the Rolex Day-Date. With its solid strap and robust case, the presidential watch always looks elegant and stylish. With typical Rolex elements such as the fluted bezel, Cyclops lens, and model-exclusive day display and hidden clasp, this watch embodies Rolex like no other. 4. Making mechanical watches. Special. Lange and Söhne Zeitwerk. This timepiece proves that mechanical watchmaking masterpieces are alive and well in our modern age. We are talking, of course, about Lange and Söhne Zeitwerk. This watch saw the light of day in 2009, excellently combining an analog and digital time display, the large jumping numerals for the hours and minutes, a newly developed tensioning movement, the daring combination of classic elements, and a modern time display were major innovations in the watch world. Even though very few of us have $50,000 to spend on a watch, the Lange and Söhne Zeitwerk is a timepiece that every watch enthusiast must experience at least once in their life. 5. More than the Moonwatch, Omega Speedmaster Professional. In contrast to the Zeitwerk, the Omega Speedmaster is almost boring. The good news is, sometimes the most boring watches are actually the best. It's no coincidence that the Omega Speedmaster Professional is still one of the most important and popular watches of all time. Now, some claim that nobody would be interested in this watch if it didn't have its legendary space travel and NASA pedigree and hadn't been to the moon. But as a moon watch owner, I say that while the history of this watch is a big part of the fascination, at the end of the day, it's not everything. The design is still relevant more than 50 years after the first moon landing, even while it has remained almost unchanged. Whether you're a space enthusiast or not, the Omega Speedmaster is a watch that every watch lover must experience at least once. 6. Back to the old racing days. Tag Heuer Monaco. With so many legendary watches to choose from, it's difficult to narrow our list down to just 10. Although I personally like the Rolex Daytona much better, I've chosen a watch that I don't exactly visually prefer, but which has given me a wearing experience that I simply can't forget. When I was allowed to put on a Tag Heuer Monaco, I felt transported back to the racing era of the 60s and 70s. This is, of course, a time that I only know from documentaries and movies, but which this watch was able to convey to me perfectly. 7. The right way to combine tradition and modernity. Cartier Santos. There's no question that the Cartier Santos is a legendary watch. Today I want to talk about the modern reference of this all-rounder that does one thing better than almost any other watch. Thanks to its technical refinements, such as the Smart Link and Quick Switch systems, Cartier offers the end user a great wearing experience that requires no tools or watchmaking knowledge. Not every watch enthusiast is so technically minded or brave that they can or want to change and shorten their own bracelets. While other well-known traditional watch brands seem to resist these kinds of innovations, Cartier proves that tradition and modernity do not have to be mutually exclusive. 8. Rolex Submariner diving watches are among the most popular timepieces. And what watch could represent this category better than the Rolex Submariner? It's the most frequently copied and replicated watch in the world, and the epitome of a diver. Some competitors even have to deliberately design their diving watches very differently to avoid being compared to it. The Rolex Submariner shows that it doesn't take much to create an ingenious design. As with the Omega Speedmaster, the supposedly most boring things are sometimes the best. A Rolex Submariner is a watch that you have to experience on your wrist as a watch lover, precisely because of its simplicity and straightforwardness. 9. Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso. The Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso was originally developed for polo players. The case could be flipped to protect the watch dial, hence the name Reverso. Full disclosure, I'm not the least bit interested in polo, but this feature makes the Reverso unique, especially when we consider what JLC has made of it over time. Being able to admire a second dial or the watch's movement by turning the case over shows that Jaeger-LeCoultre not only honors tradition, but is also incredible. 10. A different way to wear a watch. Hublot King Power watch. Hublot Big Bang, one brand that is often criticized by watch enthusiasts, is Hublot. However, when you don't buy a watch from this brand, you understand much better what makes these watches so special. Although I like the classic Fusion the best, I only realized the fascination behind the brand when I was allowed to put on a King Power Manchester United. The watch is simply big, loud, and crazy, but that's exactly what makes it so much fun. Watches don't always have to be suitable for everyday use or fly under the radar. Sometimes they can be loud and wild. While everyday watches are like a nice car for daily commutes, the Hublot King Power is perhaps like the green Lamborghini that you only take out of the garage for a few hours on the weekend. Every watch lover needs to have tried a Hublot King Power on at least once, regardless of how you feel about the brand. It truly is a completely different way of wearing a watch. If you found this video informative and give you more deep knowledge as a watch enthusiast or watch aficionado, kindly hit the subscribe button and don't forget to like, comment, share, and turn on the notification bell to stay tuned to our channel for more exciting and informative